Let me get this straight. In Raleigh, North Carolina, or Washington and other places I'm hearing, they heard this noise and this UFO, they're calling it, comes flying out of the sky with a trail of smoke behind it, crash lands somewhere. And that's not on the news. Everyone knows about this by now. Well, mostly everyone. But it's not on the news. Why is that? What are they hiding from us? If you haven't noticed, there's a lot of crazy stuff that just keeps happening. It keeps happening. We've got robots now. Mr. Musk released his lines of robots, and they can walk your dog, take care of your kids, cook your dinner, do whatever. Legit, actual robots. We have UFOs crash landing out of the sky. We got, where I live in Connecticut, northern lights. Come on. We got hurricane after hurricane after hurricane, and another one's on the way, supposedly. We got so many people confused about who they are and what they are. We got the craziest election of all time, and there's stuff happening there, but I'll let you figure that out. Everyone's offended over everything. And the one name you can't mention is the name that is the King of Kings. He's the Lord of Lords. His name is Jesus Christ, and I will never be ashamed of it. I will never be ashamed of who my Savior is. And all this crazy stuff is happening because Jesus, the King, is on his way. And he's coming back not as a baby in a manger, not as someone to be mocked and to be crucified, because he was crucified once and that's enough for you and me. But he's coming back as a king to reign and rule over everything and everyone. And when he comes back, he's either going to come back as your Savior or he's coming back as your judge. And I pray to God right now that if you don't know him, that you get to know him so he can come back as your Savior. Because when he comes back, he comes with fire in his eyes. He comes on a white horse. On his thigh it says King of Kings. He's coming back to rule as a king should. That's why we're seeing all this stuff, and that's why this stuff doesn't make the news. They're hiding and doing whatever they're doing because Satan knows his time is short, and Satan knows that the king is on his way. The king is coming. You're running out of time. So whoever it is on the other side of the screen, if you don't know who Jesus is, I'm begging that you get to know who this carpenter is in the Bible. That you get to know who this Nazarene is. This one that bled and died and took your place and took my place, who took the sin of the world on his back, who took the punishment that we deserve, died, so that we can have right standing with the Father, a right relationship again. And that same king is coming back to establish his kingdom. So I beg you now, if you don't know him, get to know him, because that's why all this craziness is happening. That's why it's not on the news. That's why people have lost their minds and no one accepts truth for real truth. They accept a lie instead. So get to know who Jesus is, because the King is coming. He's on his way. King Jesus, the Savior of the world, he's on his way.